NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day NFL Show. We're going to do our Week 4 picks with scores. OMG, guys. Week 3 was crazy. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. We went 10-6 last week. Still ultimately had a winning record, but my worst week of the season by far. We had some insane upsets, to say the least, right? I told everyone, especially in my members only video, where I was like, guys, it's going to get crazy. You have to be very, very careful in week 3. That proved to be right. Craziness, guys. But we're still 35-13 on the year. 74% winning percentage. We're going to do better in week 4. I know that, guys. Stick around for the video. NFL fans, put on your seatbelts for week 4. Here we go. Do me a huge favor first. Make sure you smash that like button. It does really help us get into YouTube's algorithm. And if you're on your phone, smash that hype button. That also really, really helps. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. And if you're into sports betting, check out my memberships. $4.99 a month. You get all of my bets each and every week. And we already started the season with $200. We're up over $400. We already doubled our money. And that's considering we lost, I don't know, more than half of our bets last week with Green Bay and Atlanta getting smoked last week, crushing our parlays. But I told you guys to be careful, so hopefully you listen. Let's get into these week 4 predictions with score, guys. We're going to kick things off Thursday Night Football, Seattle at Arizona, guys. The spread's at -1.5 for Seattle. I think the Seahawks dominate this game. James Conner is done for the year with a knee injury. That means Trey Benson takes over as the number 1 back. From watching Arizona last week, there's tons of confusion, bad play clock management, guys. Just an overall offense that looks pretty inept in my opinion. Kyler Murray went 22 of 35, 159. They did run the ball a little bit better, but now James Conner is out. The offensive line has not looked great. And Seattle, man, they look pretty damn good right now, man. The solid defense is going to keep them in games each and every week. They held Kamara and New Orleans to under 3 yards per carry. I like that as well. Jackson Smith and Jigba played really well, even though he was dealing with an illness, right? Seattle is second in the NFL with 5 interceptions. Really impressive stuff, guys. And they've held teams to under 16 points per game. That also ranks second in the NFL, right? And Arizona ranks 3rd worst in the NFL, giving up 793 yards through the air. Listen, this is my bet of the week. I'm putting a big unit bet on Seattle to win this game. Moneyline bet. The line's at -1.5, but I don't need to do that. I'm just going straight money line for Seattle. I'm giving you guys away a free bet this week. I love Seattle in this spot. I'm going 34-20. Seattle to win this game. I think they dominate this game in every aspect. Arizona's defense is a little banged up. Seattle's secondary is really, really, really good, man. And Arizona hasn't been effective running the football all year long. I don't expect that to change. Seattle gets a big W. Next up, we move on to the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember, this is in Dublin, Ireland. Shout out to all my Irish brothers out there. Man, I wish I was in Dublin, man. Faux show! Drinking some brewskis in Dublin. That sounds like a sweet-ass time to me, guys. Excuse all this crazy loud sawing and construction noises. They're putting up a new apartment complex right next to ours. It's a nightmare. Bear with me, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Vikings. Wentz looked pretty good in his debut last week with J.J. McCarthy being out hurt. 14 of 20, a $173, 2 tutties. Jordan Mason looked great. 16 carries, 116 yards. It's great to have Christian Darrisaw back at that left tackle position for Minnesota. Pittsburgh beat the Patriots last week, but in actuality, the Patriots beat themselves. 5 turnovers in that game, guys. It was a disaster, right? Drake May throwing interceptions in the end zone. I mean, it was a complete nightmare offensively for the Patriots, guys. It was just awful. Awful, awful, awful. And if the Patriots don't turn the ball over 5 times, they probably win that game easily, in my opinion, right? So who do I ultimately think wins this game? Oh, man, this is a tough one. Minnesota's the favorite right now. I just think they're the better football team. I think they're going to run the ball better than Pittsburgh is. Aaron Rodgers just looks okay. I like Brian Flores. I think he's going to dial up pressure on Aaron Rodgers, who can't move around at all in the pocket, right? So unless Pittsburgh dinks and dunks their way to a victory, I don't think they win this game. I'm going with Minnesota in Ireland, 26-17. I think Carson Wentz is going to be a little more comfortable pushing the ball down the field a little bit. I think he's going to get Justin Jefferson a lot more involved, that he's more, comfortable in this offense. They did a great job running the ball with Christian Darrisaw back, Jordan Mason, balls out. I like Minnesota in this spot. Next up, Washington at Atlanta. Washington's only 1.5-point favorites. Confusing to me, considering the Falcons last week probably laid the biggest egg I've ever seen in the 5 years I've been covering the NFL. 30-0 to one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Carolina is not a good defense. They're just not. They don't have a lot of talent in that spot. He was just downright awful. He eventually got benched for Kirk Cousins. I think the leash might even be shorter here in week 4 at home versus Washington. This team has too much talent to be this bad. We got to keep our eye on whether or not Jaden Daniels is going to play. I think he does play in this spot, but they might not rush him back because Marcus Mariota played pretty well there in Washington, right? Falcons fired their wide receiver coach, Ike Hilliard, with amongst the offensive struggles, right? I mean, it's weird considering how bad they played last week, and the Falcons still have given up the second lowest amount of yards in the NFL at 682. It's very, very confusing stuff. Mariota went 15 for 21, 207 yards. They ran the ball pretty well versus the Raiders. 32 overall carries for over 200 yards as a team. They also had 5 sacks, right? So if they can get pressure on Atlanta, which I think they do, I like Washington to win this game and cover the spread, right? I'm going to go 28-20 Washington. Like, Washington had a deep run in the playoffs last year. The Atlanta Falcons, I don't know. I'm just not sold on Michael Penix Jr. We'll see if he can bounce back in this spot at home. But I think Washington is better coached. They got a better quarterback. I think they're just a better overall football team right now. But Terry McLaurin just popped up on the injury report, guys. We got to keep our eyes on that as we move forward through the week. No Terry McLaurin might incline me to move to Atlanta at home, right? It's hard to win road games in the NFL. So if there's no Jaden Daniels and no Terry McLaurin, maybe I switch to Atlanta later in the week. But after that showing, that abysmal performance in week 3, I don't know if I could ever bet on Atlanta going forward, right? So I'm going to roll with Washington right now, 28-20. Next up, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this game. New Orleans at Buffalo. The line's at 16.5. I'm going Bills 34-17. The Bills, you can run the football on them a little bit, right? They're the worst in the NFL. They've given up 468 yards on the ground. So Kamara might get going a little bit, but New Orleans' offensive line's not very good. I'm hoping Ed Oliver can come back and kind of plug up some of those running lanes. He looked really good in the limited time he's played this year. But Josh Allen and the Bills are the team to beat in the AFC, in my opinion. I think they roll. They're at home. Spencer Rattler's an inexperienced guy. I like Buffalo in this spot, 34-17. Now, we're going to move on to the Cleveland Browns at Detroit. Lions at -8.5 for the Lions. OMG, Cleveland, the parlay crusher Browns just blew up everyone's sports book last week. I mean, everyone was just throwing Green Bay in parlays, just getting a little extra juice here and there. It happened to me. It happened to everybody. How Jordan Love and that football team lost to the Browns is unfathomable to me. That offense looked lost. I get it. The Cleveland Browns have an exceptional defense, right? But you should be able to attack them through the air with those intermediate routes, but they were just not able to get it going, man, at all whatsoever, right? They scored 13 in the final 4 minutes to win that game. Packers shit the bed straight up. Lions, oh, man, they ran the ball over Baltimore, man. The Lions looked so unbelievably good. They got in the top 5 in my power rankings. I just released that video, so make sure you check that out if you're into power rankings. The Browns just don't have an offense, right? And it's just going to be a really fun matchup because the Lions have been so good at running the ball. They ran the ball down the Ravens' throat on Monday Night Football, right? But the Browns have been the best team in the NFL versus the run. Something's got to give here. Who's going to win that battle? But I think the Lions are going to take the path of least resistance. They don't have anyone on this Cleveland Browns roster that could cover those receivers with Tesla, Williams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. They just don't have the firepower to do that, in my opinion, and Sam Laporta. So the D-line for Cleveland is exceptional, but I like the Lions to win and cover. I'm going 26-13. I think the Lions are so dynamic right now. They had a little hiccup in week 1, but they kicked the crap out of the Ravens. And, man, I picked the Ravens in that spot, and if Derrick Henry doesn't fumble away another win, they probably win that game. But Jared Goff looks great. The offensive line is slowly coming together. I like what's going on in Detroit. Dan Campbell has balls of steel. The dude's, he's an OG, man. Dan Campbell's the guy you want to go to war with. I'm going to war with the Detroit Lions this week to win and cover the 8.5 points, 26-13. This game is very interesting to me. Carolina Panthers at the New England Patriots. The Patriots are a young, inexperienced team, and they played like it last week versus Pittsburgh Steelers. 5 turnovers. Ramondre Stevenson had 2 fumbles. Antonio Gibson had a fumble. Drake May had a fumble. Drake May threw an interception in the end zone. It's just like, you can't win football games like this, man. You just cannot do it. You know, it's like, and New England's also getting shredded through the air, giving up 769 yards. That's 4th worst in the NFL, right? It's in New England, but I don't even know if that really matters, man. Like, I think Carolina's definitely a momentum-based team, and they got a lot of confidence right now. And we have a Carolina Panthers team that's playing with confidence and a Patriots team that is just turning the ball over at will. I'm going with Carolina to win a really close game here, 2017. The Patriots just continue to make mistakes. Ramondre Stevenson has had fumble issues his whole career. They bring in Gibson. He fumbles. I mean, Trevion Henderson's a rookie. I mean, they can't pass the ball. Drake May actually looked okay, but when drives are like at pivotal moments, right? Drake May just has let me down so far this season. I don't know, man. This is a tough spot. I don't have any interest in betting on this game at all whatsoever. But right now, I'm going to roll with the Carolina Panthers to get it done 20-17. Bryce Young played really well. That defense got a lot of turnovers last week. I mean, the Panthers are playing with confidence after that game in Atlanta. The Patriots are on the opposite side of that spectrum. Can the Patriots rebound at home? We shall see. But right now, I'm going with Carolina to win this game and take the points too. Carolina getting 5.5. I like that. I like that. There are some spread. I'm not a big spread bettor, as you guys know, but there are some spreads that I really like this week. And speaking of spreads that I like, Chargers at the Giants. Chargers are 6.5 point favorites. I love taking the Chargers, giving up 6.5 points. I love that. I love that, man. The Chargers are just a tough, gritty, well-coached team, man. It is a shame. Najee Harris, Achilles injury, done for the season. That's a bummer. But they do have a Marion Hampton who's looked so far. I mean, losing Rashawn Slater is a big deal, but Joe Alt has kicked over to the left tackle and he's played exceptionally well. That kid's a monster. Next year when they get Slater back, man, this offensive line is going to be one of the better units in the NFL, right? I want to see a little more balance with the Chargers, though. Herbert threw the ball 47 times last week. That's not ideal. I want to see it under 40, right? Get a little more run-pass balance. You know, Herbert leads the NFL in passing yards. Harbaugh has really unleashed Herbert on the NFL. 860 yards passing. The dude looks really, really, really good, right? The Giants, the offense is inefficient. They only scored 9 points versus the Chiefs last week. I do love Cam Scatterbo. Brian Burns, I think, is second in the NFL in sacks with 4. But the secondary is not very good. The offense continues to struggle. And the Giants are starting. Flash news alert. Russell Wilson's benched. Like, why even bring him in if you're going to bench him after 3 games? And the Giants are just so dumb. Brian Daboll is so desperate to keep his job. He's like, if I could catch a spark with Jackson Dart, then I could keep my job. But either way, I think Daboll gets fired. Joe Sheen gets fired at the end of the year. They're terrible at their job. Daboll's a bum. I mean, this offense is inept. The offensive line's not very good at all. A bad offensive line against a solid Chargers defense that gave up the least amount of points in the NFL last year. Line's only 6.5. I'm taking the Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers to win in dominant fashion, 31-16, and cover the 6.5 points. I love that spot. I think I'm going to put a bet on the Chargers and the spread. faux show. Next up, my Philadelphia Eagles on the road taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Eagles are 3.5-point favorites. Whew. Lane Johnson got a stinger last week. It looks like he is going to play here in week 4. Big injury update for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans is out for the foreseeable future. Another soft tissue injury for Mike Evans. It's a hamstring. The dude just can't stay healthy. Especially the older he gets, these injuries are just happening more and more frequently. The Eagles had that killer comeback last week, 26-7. They outscored the Rams. And the Buccaneers almost blew it. The Jets almost came back with that blocked field goal. That was awesome. I think it was a field goal or a punt. Whatever the hell it was, they almost beat the Buccaneers. But, man, Baker Mayfield just wills this team into wins. We have to keep our eye on whether Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be playing in this spot. The Buccaneers, a lot of young offensive linemen playing, tons of penalties, 10 penalties in the first half, 14 total. If you get a lot of penalties against a team like the Eagles and give them second opportunities and give them first downs on third downs, the Eagles are going to take advantage of that. You know, Tampa Bay has been really taking care of the football. They have 0 giveaways this year. The Eagles only have 1. So both of these teams are really protecting the football very, very well this year. I'm taking the Eagles to win 27-24, but the Buccaneers cover the 3.5 points, right? The Buccaneers play really well against the Eagles the last few times that they've met. So, I mean, this game's going to be really, really close. I'm hoping the momentum in the second half carries over for the Eagles into this spot. It's a tough spot on the road against a tough, gritty team. Todd Bowles is going to be blitzing the shit out of Jalen Hurts, so he's got to get rid of the ball fast. The Eagles got to scheme up and attack the blitz with the run. You run at the blitzes, right? That's how you beat the blitz, in my opinion. Saquon's got to get cooking. He hasn't looked good so far. I'm going with the Eagles, 27-24. Next up, we have Tennessee at Houston, guys. This game's really interesting. We'll have to check the stats on T'Vondre Sweat. You know, he's been MIA with some injuries for Tennessee. Brian Callahan, in breaking news today, he's relinquishing his offensive play calling duties to quarterback coach Bo Hardegree. So that's an interesting turn of events. Maybe he can unlock some stuff with Cam Ward. So we'll have to see. Cam Ward has looked okay, in my opinion. The offensive line, a little suspect. We got to keep our eye on the injuries on the offensive line for the Titans as we move forward, right? This is a battle of two teams that can't run the football at all. C.J. Stroud has been awful this year. He was not good. Only threw for 204 yards, and 2 interceptions. Nico did have a nice day, 8 for 104, right? Titans are very vulnerable on the ground, ranking in the bottom 5 in yards allowed, but the Texans can't run the ball at all, right? So this is going to be a sloppy game. Whoever wins the turnover battle will win this game, in my opinion. And I just can't trust Houston at all right now, guys, whatsoever. And they're 0-3, and I think they might go to 0-4, man. Right now I'm going to go with the Titans 23-20 to win a close one, right? Houston had 6 3-and-outs last week. I mean, they're just completely inefficient on offense, right? They can't get things cooking. Tons of penalties on both sides of the ball. They just do everything to lose football games, and I think they find out another way to lose. And shit start to get dicey in Houston, man. It's not looking good. That offensive line is trash. Titans win 23-20 with the upset. Houston's given 7 points, man. I'm taking the Titans and the points all day long. Another game I don't really want to bet on, division game. Two teams that are playing like shit. You know, this could be another game where, like, there's block kicks and pick sixes and scoop and score fumbles. I would not bet on this game if I were you. But I do like the Titans in a teaser, right? You tease it up to like 14 points. Like, the Texans just are having trouble scoring points, right? So you attack teams that can't score with teasers, man. I think that's a good spot for the Titans there. I'm going Titans win 23-20. Next up on the slate, guys, we have one of my favorite games of the week. Colts on the road taking on the Rams, who let that sweet, sweet lead disappear versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Block kick loses them the game. They should have won that game. But remember, there's no Lane Johnson in that spot. So the Rams blitzed the Eagles a lot and had a lot of success blitzing the Eagles. That's what I think Tampa Bay is going to want to do against the Eagles too. Just a little side note. Kyron went 20 for 94 versus the Eagles. Puka went 11 for 112. You know, man, the Rams offense is super high powered. the Colts defense has been pretty good so far, but the reason why the Colts are winning is because Jonathan Taylor is leading the NFL in rushing. 338 yards through 3 games, 5.6 yards per carry. The dude's been extremely dominant. That's opening up play action in the middle of the field for Tyler Warren and Daniel Jones, who's not turned the ball over, right? Dude looks really, really good. Shane Steichen's got this team firing on all cylinders right now. But man, the Rams, the front seven's pretty good. They're good at getting after the quarterback. We could see Daniel Jones get some happy feet. I expect the Rams to blitz the shit out of Daniel Jones and make him make plays. So I'm going with the Rams in this spot. The line's at 3.5. I think the Colts cover, but I'm going to go Rams 27-24, right? Colts have 0 giveaways this year, man. If you don't turn the football over and you run the ball effectively, that's a winning recipe, in the NFL. That's what the Colts are doing. The Rams need to get pressure on Daniel Jones, force a turnover or two, and I think they can win in this spot. They're going to want to come back hungry and bounce back after they let that lead slip away to the Eagles. They're coming for blood, I think. I like the Rams in this spot. Next up, Jacksonville Jaguars versus San Francisco, right? I originally thought San Francisco could win this game. They are -3 favorites, but huge injury news. Nick Bosa is done for the season with an ACL injury. That's huge. Huge, guys. Their defense was playing pretty good, and Bosa was a major contributor of that, right? Now they have a really young D-line against a Jaguars team that's running the ball very effectively so far this year, guys. Again, I'm sorry about the sawing and the drilling and shit. It's super annoying. I'm sorry, guys. There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is right now. Jaguars, Brian Thomas Jr. continues to have the yips, dropping the ball all over the place. And Trevor Lawrence needs to stop staring down receivers, right? He needs to go through his progressions, get his head on a swivel a little bit. When you lock in on receivers, man, on the breaks, these defensive backs in the NFL are going to break on that every time and catch interceptions, right? The Jaguars actually lead the NFL in takeaways with 9. 7 interceptions, 2 fumbles. The defense is flying around, making plays. But on the flip side, Ricky Pearsall is having a great year in year 2 for the 49ers. C-Mac caught 10 passes for 88 yards. Pearsall 8 for 117 last week. But San Francisco ranks 4th in yards allowed. But losing Bosa could be costly, right? They're doing really good defensively, a top 5 unit in yards allowed, right? But losing Bosa is going to hurt. Pass rush wise, contain wise, right? Mac Jones is playing well if our boy Brock Purdy can't go. 27 of 41 for 284. Mac Jones has looked great in his stead. I thought Mac Jones would be successful in Shanahan's offense, but I think missing Bosa is going to be too much for this young defense. Robert Saleh is doing a hell of a job. So is Shanahan on the offensive side of they're very well coached, the 49ers, right? And Travis Hunter, where are you? Donde está? Travis Hunter, where are you, bro? The Jaguars gave up all that cabbage to go up and get Travis Hunter, who has been completely insignificant in this offense so far. Something's got to give. I expect them to try to get him involved because he's looked like dog shit so far. I'm going with the Jags 23-17. Losing Bosa is just too much, man. And this Jaguars defense, 9 turnovers forced, best in the NFL. You know, I like it. I'm going Jaguars on the road to beat San Francisco. It's going to be a close game, guys. Either way, it's a coin flip game, 50-50 game. It could go either way. I'm going to dive into the tape a little more this week. I could flip back to San Francisco because coaching matters in this league, especially at home, close game. Are the Jaguars ready to go win a big game against a well-coached team on the road? I'm not quite sure, right? The Jaguars are just They're knocking at the doorstep to being, an above 500 team in this league, right? So I'm going to go with the Jags early. 23-17. Baltimore, Kansas City. I got a lot to say about this game. Baltimore's 2.5-point favorites. Right off the jump, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game, 24-23. I just don't like Lamar Jackson's body language. He looks like a teenage girl when you tell her that she can't go to the mall. Every time something happens, he's like, ugh. He's got this look on his face like, dude, grow up. Go on to the next play. Stop pouting. Stop your bitching and your whining and go win a game. I just don't like the body language, man. I just don't. And Derrick Henry continues to fumble the ball. 3 games, 3 fumbles. 2 of them lost this team games. 2 of my 13 losses this season came on the Ravens fumbling the ball in the fourth quarter and fumbling away chances to win games, right? On the flip side, the Chiefs don't look great either. The communication's not great. They're not playing great football. The Ravens defense looks really mid against the Lions. They got steamrolled by the run, but the Chiefs don't run the ball super effectively either, right? So, this is going to be a close, gritty game, but I just don't like where Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry slamming his helmet down, flopping on the bench, pouting and complaining and crying like 5-year-old babies. I like the Chiefs 24-23 in a really, really close game. And the Ravens are giving up the second most passing yards in the NFL, 799. I think Mahomes and company could get right in this spot and kind of carve up this Ravens defense that is exceptionally overrated, and they're not very good. And Lamar Jackson, just stop with the whining. Just stop. Just stop. Go win a game that's close, man. Do you want to be a champion? Because champions don't bitch. You see Jalen Hurts doing that? No. He's stoic. He's focused. He's determined. He flushes bad shits, man. You got a bad shit, you flush it. You don't sit there and you smell it, you flush it. You move on and you win in the second half. That's what Jalen Hurts does. Give me Jalen Hurts over Lamar Jackson any day of the week. Any day of the week, I'm taking Jalen Hurts. Kansas City Chiefs win 24-23. Chicago Bears, Raiders. The Raiders' offensive line is exceptionally terrible. Outside of Max Crosby, this defense has no juice either. I like the Bears on the road to win this game. Bears are minus 1.5 point favorites. I like the Bears and the spread here, right? The Raiders' defense is just awful, man. They're just not a good unit, man. They just can't. And the Raiders, they can't run the ball. 3.3 yards per carry as a team. It's just not going to get it done. Geno has solid stat lines. 19 of 29 of 289 for 3 touchdowns, but a lot of that came in prevent defenses when they were way behind. So you've got to look deeper into the box scores, guys, man. We'll really know this week. Is it just Dallas being that bad for Caleb Williams, or can he string some consistency together, right? He spread the ball out. 4 different guys got touchdown passes. They're still not running the ball super great, but I think that Caleb Williams is going to have time in this spot, and Ben Johnson is going to be able to utilize that against a shitty Raiders team. And it's they have good pieces, right? I like Geno Smith-ish. I love Brock Bowers. I love Genty, but this offensive line sucks. And how you win in this league is to be good in the trenches. And outside of Max Crosby, this team can't rush the passer. They can't stop the run. They can't block at all. It's just, I think Geno Smith got sacked 5 times or something in that spot. Not a good look. I'm going Bears, 28-20. Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay by 7. I like this spread too. Rookie offensive lineman Tyler Booker is out. CeeDee Lamb is out. And remember, Cooper Beebe, the center, he's out too, right? Rashawn Gary for the Packers leads the NFL in sacks with 4.5, right? I expect Micah Parsons to climb up in that ranking as well. The Packers have also given up the least amount of points in the NFL, 14.7 per game. Dude. The Packers will get right in this spot, I'm hoping. After that terrible performance from Jordan Love and this offense, you got to score some freaking points, man. Come on. But there are some questions on the offensive line for the Packers. Zach Tom and Aaron Banks both questionable in this spot, right? Dallas' secondary is just so bad. CeeDee Lamb's hurt. Diggs is hurt. Bland's hurt. Pickens is dropping the ball. Javonte Williams actually looks pretty damn good, though. But I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball without Booker, right? This team is going to be putting it on Dak Prescott's back. And the last time, remember when the Packers played at Dallas, they embarrassed Dallas in the playoffs 2 years ago, right? Dallas had 1 QB hit and 0 sacks versus Chicago. They can't get after the quarterback. You give Jordan Love time, I think he torches them. I like the Packers in this spot, 27-17. And giving them 17 points is probably 7 of those comes in garbage time. I like the Packers to dominate here on the road. Next up, we got 2 Monday Night Football games. We got the Jets at Miami, and then we also got a good spot with Cincinnati and Denver. Good for Denver because Cincinnati sucks. But Jets at Miami. Once again, guys, I apologize for the sawing. It's like extra sawing today. It's like they're like in my living room with me. It's super annoying. But the Jets have been playing tough football, man. They're never out of games. Their losses this year, outside of the Buffalo blowout, they lost by 2 to Pittsburgh, 2 to Tampa Bay. So they're not giving up on games, right? So they're playing tough. This game's going to be really, really close. Really, really, really close. But the Jets, they've been giving up 30 points a game, right? This defense is not great. Miami's losses 33-8 to Indianapolis, right? They lost 33-27, 31-21. But the Bills game was a little closer than the box score suggests, right? I just think Miami scores some points in this game versus the Jets defense just gives up a lot of points, man. They're giving up points to everybody, man. They're giving up over 30 points per game. I'm going Miami 28-20 here because this Jets defense is exceptionally banged up. You know, Jermaine Johnson's questionable. McCary Ball on IR, the Will linebacker. Quincy Williams on IR. Sauce Gardner, questionable. Strong safety Tony Adams, questionable. You know, that's half the defense, guys. I think Miami, with those skill position players and A-Chain, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill, get it done. If Tua doesn't throw that interception late in that Bills game, they have a chance to tie that game up and make it close, right? So, but I'm going with Miami here at home, especially 28-20. Next up, wrapping up my week 4 picks with scores. We got the Cincinnati Bengals at Denver. The line's only 7 points. Cincinnati turns the ball over so much. They lead the NFL in giveaways with 8. Bo Nix has been pretty blah. You know, I hope Evan Ingram comes back. I think he's going to add another element to this offense. They have a really good defense, but again, the Denver Broncos defense is susceptible to the run, right? We've seen them get carved up by Jonathan Taylor, but the Bengals can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball without Joe Burrow. The defense is awful. We'll keep our eye on whether or not Shamar Stewart plays in this game, but Trey Hendrickson can't do it all by himself, right? I like the Denver Broncos to win and cover the 7-point spread, 26-13, guys. All right, that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for all your support this season. You guys are the best. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my memberships, hit that hype button, and we will catch you later in the week when I give you guys my Friday final picks. We went 10-6 last week, 35-13 on the season, 73% winning percentage. I want to boost it up over 75 this week. We're going to get her done. Thank you guys so much. Peace.